Okay, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to the Crypto Report. We are live on a Tuesday. And Bitcoin is getting close to those highs again. And Ethereum is getting close to its highs too, which is crazy. But we do have some news that makes these moves in the crypto market make sense. And just history is kind of repeating itself right now in more ways than one. Let's get into some of the big news stories for the day because there's a couple. We're going to talk about the Circle news, which is actually quite large. A new layer one coming from Circle, sending that stock up and down. Why would it be so volatile like that? We got to talk about that. More news from the president and crypto news with that. We also had some inflation data. That's kind of the biggest thing for the day, the inflation data. Very big news story. Everybody's talking about it. So buckle up, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, guys, welcome back. Hope everybody's doing well. Shout out to the chat real right quick. To Kevin and Daryl and BSS and Scott and everybody in there. Hope you're doing great today. Let's get into it. Let's do the old screen share. And here's how we do it. If you're new to this live stream, to this channel, the way I kind of do this thing is, we're going to do a little market update, look at some of the big gainers, big losers for the day, just to kind of get this show on the road, let some people hop in. We'll do all the news stories. Got a lot of news stories to look at with you guys today. I want to pull one more thing up. I forgot to add one thing here, which is very important. I always like to pull up CoinGlass, where I like to look at some of the data, the relevant data. So this is how we do it, Daryl. That's correct. Okay. And then we'll do a little Q&A at the end. So potato, tomato, potato. Sure. We've got Bitcoin up to 119,000 buckaroos today. It's up 5% over the last 7 days, getting close to those previous highs. Let's jump over to the Bitcoin chart real quick and look at that total market cap sitting at 3.97 trillion. We have gotten above 4 trillion. We are on our way back up. Bitcoin dominance is creeping back down because why? Well, Ethereum is absolutely booming. Told you guys that if we could break through this trend line, which would make all the sense in the world, we did break through it. We could head to this level at about 4,000, busted right through that with no problem, which was great to see because that was a key level we needed Ethereum to break through. Then the next level I think we would likely see is somewhere around these weekly candle closes up here around 46.3. Going to be looking at our next level of resistance there. And again, like these are the kind of levels personally that I like to be trading. You see Ethereum hit. Maybe this is a resting point. Maybe Ethereum's going to touch here and then maybe dip down in September and then continue back up and break through. Who knows? But I have talked about the potential possibility for a September slip. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying it is a possibility to consider. If Ethereum was to find resistance here, we might see it touch back down there. I think maybe with the trajectory you have, I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of just saw a little hiccup there, a boost up to like basically 5, and then maybe a bounce before we keep going. So just be on the lookout for some of the volatility here. BSS in the chat has been a member on this YouTube channel for 19 months. Thank you so much for your support. Anybody else that wants to be a member on this channel, we got access to a private Discord for you when you do become a member. And you do get, just a little bit more attention and love during these live streams because I can see your name in big, beautiful green letters as well. We like that. So thank you to you, BSS. But Ethereum is kind of the key here for the Bitcoin dominance move that we're looking at. As Ethereum is rallying, Bitcoin dominance should probably continue falling. And then what you got kind of going on is some of these other altcoins are rallying as well, because as Ethereum starts stealing the show, Pepe's trying to flip back green, which is great. Gonna do a Pepe video for you guys a little bit later today. I think people are wondering, Pepe update from me. I haven't done a Pepe video in a while. Just about kind of everything's trying to turn up right now. XRP, XDC a little slower, but right now this is Ethereum show. This is the Ethereum show. And with this data that we have coming in on CPI today, helping us with the Fed rate cuts, you got to see the Fed. You know what? Hold on. I got to get rid of this fella over on. Can't do it. Can't do it. I'll figure that out later. We are streaming on Kick, by the way. We're on Kick. We're on Rumble. We're on X. We are over on YouTube as well. It's where we started. Our origin story begins on YouTube, and we have just kind of continued to stream on more platforms. BSS, this is your crypto home. Oh, man, warm my soul. Ethereum is making these beautiful moves because of some of the news that we have going on. So let's look at some of the other big gainers and losers for the day, and then we'll get into some of that news that is driving Ethereum up. Jasmy leading the charts today. That's kind of shocking. Here we go. Jasmy. Man, I don't know what it is, but people love that Jasmy coin. I liked it. I talked about it a little bit, and I liked kind of really the hype that was going to going on around it. Oh, the hype's still there, even though I can't remember what that story was for the life of me, but there was a relatively negative news story that I saw about Jasmy, which is kind of leaving me to stay away from it. But man, when this thing moves, it moves for some reason. Chainlink is always kind of a favorite in these bull markets for a lot of people, it seems. That's having a really nice move today, up 44% over the last 7 days, up a nice almost 9% today. That's pretty cool. Polkadot finally showing some life. How has Polkadot been doing? Polkadot is one that I think people kind of let slip past, and maybe it's because the name. I don't know. So a lot of men in crypto. Maybe men don't like the name Polkadot. Maybe that's a bad opinion. I don't really know. I've never really paid too much attention to Polkadot, but I do know that it is a blockchain that folks at Galaxy Digital, some of these hedge funds out there, they do like Polkadot, the technology behind it, and I think the folks behind it got some connections maybe. So this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it had some kind of run back up to its highs. Where did it get to? Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't been up to those highs. This thing got up to $50-something in the last bull market back in 2021. That's a 10x from here, over a 10x from here. Things like that are possible when full-fledged altcoin season hits. And I do think that altcoin season is probably upon us very soon. I say that because what? Why? Nope. Got it. Good. Because Ethereum's finally having this breakout that we needed, and Bitcoin dominance is falling down. It's looking good for, all the Polkadots and the Litecoins and the Cardanos for sure, and the Chainlinks of the world. Okay, so that's looking pretty darn good right now. We like to see that. Aave, also a fan favorite Ethereum protocol, one of the popular ones. Ondo's the RWA play of this cycle, says everybody. So apparently that one's supposed to be pretty cool. Cardano's getting a nice move. So, this is nice. Solana's still a little slow compared to the rest, but it had such a good beginning to this bull market. It could be due for another epic run at some point before the end of this thing. And the meme coin by the president is still struggling with the $10 price level. Let's see if that one comes back. I'd be curious. Any losers today? A couple losers today. Storium and Arrow, which were rallying recently, coming back down. Monero is certainly rallying lately. I don't know too much about Story. I don't know too much about the Story coin at all, but it keeps popping up at the top of the charts and at the bottom of the charts. Farcoin, the meme coin, not really doing anything yet. Just curious to see if that thing does anything. And Pi had a really nice pump over the last 7 days, so just a small retracement today. Mostly an update for crypto. We gotta like it. Clear's Beef said it best in the chat. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Christian in the chat is asking, what is Blacksea's real name? Well, it's Black, last name C. So there you go. Fry and Pan Man in the chat. Yeah. But anyway, here's the big story for the day. Breaking CPI data year over year. The expected was 2.8%. We came in a little bit lower, 2.7%. This is your bullish catalyst for the day. And you love to see it. You do. You love to see it. You really do. I'm going to take down the tunage just a little bit more. Change the song. So this data actually really turned out to be quite bullish for not just the crypto markets, right? But look at the S&P 500 just ripping to new highs. Unbelievable. The Dow's up, NASDAQ's up. Everything's just flying, soaring, and roaring. Now you see this headline saying CPI reading creates fresh dilemma for the Fed. Now that sounds bad, but the CPI data is going to force the Fed to, honestly, it goes hand in hand with the jobs data, which was the most important data, arguably, as of late, which is going to force the Fed to do a Fed rate cut. But the CPI rating just gives more reinforcement to that idea of a Fed rate cut coming in September. So we were at like 80-something% just the other day, 88%. We were at 91. Now we're at a high of 94% chance that in 36 days from now, we're going to get a Fed rate cut. Now, the reason that the Yahoo Finance headline is reading fresh dilemma, I read this article, I'm like glazed over it, is I believe it's because the inflation fears are still there. And so if the Fed does cut the rates because they have to, because the labor market is softening, we're seeing that jobs data come in, we're seeing CPI go down. And so now the Fed kind of needs to cut rates. But then if all of a sudden the inflation gets worse because of tariffs, like the Fed has been fearful of, well, then perhaps they could have cut rates too soon. That's the argument of this dilemma. That's the dilemma being referred to here. And so I think that the president right now is actually threatening a lawsuit over Fed Chair Powell because he's not cutting rates, I guess, which I don't know. I mean, so wild times. Yeah, president who was very nice when he met Fed Chair Powell at the Fed building is now going to just hit him with a lawsuit, I guess. Trump is kind of the he's a big lawsuit guy. He's a big lawsuit guy, no doubt. But very interesting how this is kind of going down. But anyway, yeah, rate cuts are great for Ethereum. That's why Ethereum's ripping today, because the odds are just shooting up. And then going into October, this is incredible. Even into October, a 62% chance that we're going to be down half a point by October. If I'm squirming a lot, it's my back hurts. I've got a bad back right now. I don't know what's going on. I'm stretching. I'm trying to stretch. Got to fix my back. It's going rogue on me right now. 62% chance that we're going to get a half a point rate cut by the October meeting. And then by December, there is actually a 50% chance that we're going to get 3 rate cuts this year. 3 rate cuts. Boom, boom, boom. Back to back to back in a row. That would be very good for crypto, the risk on assets, at least historically speaking. However, we are still wondering if this bull market is going to be some kind of extended cycle. And I just frankly have a hard time believing any kind of extended cycle. I just believe, that a bull market lasts about 1,070 days. The end of a bull market should technically be somewhere around October. And so eventually, after we do get the excitement over the rate cuts, eventually there will be some kind of dip in the market, historically speaking. So rate cuts are good to get the thing going, but then eventually, let me say the bubble pops, and then we have a reset and an accumulation phase again, which you should be rooting for. Always looking for an opportunity to shuffle some profits, especially in the crypto space, especially in the altcoin space. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not here to give you financial advice. You have to do your own research, my friends. But profit taking is pretty cool, right? Now, if you're buying the S&P 500 and you're just buying consistently week over week over week, and you're trying to build it's basically retirement funds in an S&P 500, that's maybe different. And same kind of like maybe you could argue like for Bitcoin as well, if you're just trying to accumulate Bitcoin. But for altcoins especially, those bull markets and those bear markets, they're wild, and you have to kind of take advantage of the opportunity that gets presented when these moments come. So as we kind of get the CPI data come out, it definitely shocked the markets. Looking at the liquidations over the last day, we actually had a couple long squeezed overnight, and then the shorts were hit again today. Not tremendous long or short squeezes. Yesterday was a decent size. $358 million worth of longs were liquidated yesterday. Again, a lot of people are kind of trying to predict this breakout and long it through price discovery mode, but that is proving to be a risky strategy. I mean, as Bitcoin is getting close to the highs, the liquidations get very big. Remember the $922 million long liquidation day when we got close to 123 again? I mean, this is kind of how she goes. This is how these markets goes. Into nature's depth, says back pain here from carrying crow for so long. Yeah, back pain here from picking my baby up out of the crib and golfing, actually, and golfing. You know, yeah, but the baby's the big thing, and sitting at this desk is definitely part of it as well. Crypto Keeper says, I don't think we'll have an extended bull market. However, I don't think everything will dump as much as it did in the past. I think altcoins will dump hard, but I think some altcoins will dump less hard, like the big ones, like the ones that get ETFs per se. However, yeah, I do think that there will be a sort of everything crypto crash, and Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's dip will be less severe, but again, I've got like mid back pain. It's like right where my hand is on my back right now. It's unbelievable. It's killing me. It's just killing me. Just achy, kind of. But one of the big stories for the day is this. Circle, the company that launched the USDC coin in a coalition with Coinbase, they went public this year, had the IPO. That was insanely successful, that IPO that they had. If you look at the chart, it went from, $60 to $300 and has since dipped down to $150, came down 50% after hitting this beautiful, beautiful high in June. And it came down 50%. And this morning on this news right here, Circle to launch its own layer 1 blockchain. This is something that I've been telling you guys. Like, everybody's like, oh, this is a great layer 1. Well, what happens when like Circle launches its layer 1? Is that going to be a competitor to Cardano? Are people going to prefer a Circle L1 over a Cardano, right? I mean, or even an Ethereum, like it's going to be an interesting thing to see. Oh, but Swee's the next big thing. Well, or Solana's the next big thing, but there's Blacksea Network. Is Circle going to just come up with something new? And since they have their own stock, and since they're like going to be one of the chosen stable coins for the country that is America, is this layer 1 going to be insane? So all this excitement actually sent the Circle stock shooting up this morning from 160 all the way up to 190, and we came right back down to 166. Maybe finding a bounce here for Circle stock. Crypto stocks are volatile, just like crypto itself. But Circle shares, I think, likely have a bright future. However, I think people are still kind of finding ways to take profit after this thing got up to $300. But going to be interesting to watch the development of this L1 solution called ARC coming from Circle, who they are going to use USDC, their stablecoin, as the native gas token for it, which will be very, very interesting. I'm going to read this comment from Scott. Not tailbone clears beef. That's actually doing okay. Scott says, Jake says that Ripple's NDAs are allocations for non-disclosure agreements are allocations for XRP coins. And after all the NDAs go live, there'll only be 5% of the supply Pixar left. And that'll bring us to $1,000 per coin. That sounds like some words that if they're NDAs, nobody knows about them, right? That's what an NDA is by nature. And I don't know. This Jake guy, he's a guy. Don't really. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people can say a lot of smart words and stuff, but that doesn't make them right. If somebody can speak well, that doesn't make them right. I think I speak okay sometimes, but I'm just a bald guy on the internet coming up with some opinions. And I'm going to tell you that. And so, you have to create your own ideas and your own solutions. And so if you want to believe in some guy that's talking about $1,000 XRP, hey, I hope it goes to $1,000 for you. But if you're holding, some XRP and you're waiting for XRP to go to $1,000 and it only goes to $10, wow, that would be a really big bummer for you to miss the nice 3x to $10 if you're sitting there in hopes of waiting for the $1,000. And that's just how my mind works. Like, I could be sitting here and saying, Crow's going to be at $100 one day. Well, why don't, I'm going to wait for it to go to, no. I mean, like, I think dollar is the first target. That's basically the previous high. And then realistically, maybe $2 to $5, right? I don't know. Could be some kind of big bull market blast off for Crow in the cycle. If it goes higher, great. If it doesn't, well, then I was prepared to kind of take some profit along the way up to my target. And that's just one coin as an example. And I think everybody's got to continue to do that. And you're seeing that right now, like with Circle stock, right? Oh, well, Circle's going to be so huge. The USDC coin got up to $300. Look, it retraced 50%. What if you'd taken some off the table up there after buying into the IPO, making tons of money? A 5x on a stock if you got in when the public could, basically. And now here you could have taken some profit, and you could be shuffling in profits right now to buy the dip. I mean, everything's the same, guys. Buy low, sell high is a strategy. That's a thing. It's a saying for a reason. It's hard to do. It's hard to be disciplined to, not let greed get the best of you. But some people are talking about super cycles. Some people are talking about $1,000 XRPs. And I'm just talking about like winning in this market, period. That's what I want to see people do. And you can't do it if you just hold forever unless everything goes up forever. And there's no guarantees that it'll do that. Again, for an example, if Circle's going to launch a layer 1 blockchain, well, then, is Ethereum going to be less good or better than that? Or is Solana going to go to the wayside? Or is Sui now not have a chance because Circle's stepping up to the plate? They got their stock. They got their L1. So, it's just going to be really interesting. It is going to be EVM compatible. So, that kind of tells you that, no, I don't want to allow that. It's going to tell you, that Ethereum is still very relevant. Kind of everything goes around Ethereum. But anyway, interesting, huh? Kind of interesting. So we looked at Circle. I think this is a very interesting story. And then Circle also was kind of ripping earlier because the Circle shares were pumping as the second quarter revenue was great. After earnings come in and things are great, for some reason there's these sell-offs, these buy the rumor, sell the news events. They just happen, guys. Okay, again, boom. That's how it goes. Another story from the New York Times. The president's crypto firm announces a $1.5 billion digital coin deal. A publicly traded tech firm, Alt5 Sigma, plans to sell 1.5 billion shares to fund the purchase of a cryptocurrency created by World Liberty Financial, which the Trumps control. The Trump's sons, to be precisely. It's got the Trump name. So I think it's no secret by now that the New York Times generally doesn't like the president. I don't think that's a secret to anybody these days. So again, they're trying to say conflict of interest kind of with the president through this article, which, is an argument. It's an argument to be made. There's definitely an argument to be made that the president does have some kind of conflict of interest because, of course he's going to want his son to do well. It's kind of just like our previous president and his son with all these things, are we just playing favoritism with our families as the president of the United States? Probably happening. But anyway, I think it's just a big deal to talk about because crypto, the president, deals, they keep happening. It keeps happening. Lots of news about crypto. Now, Scott in the chat's talking about a $30 or a $1,000 XRP. Here you got some bulls talking about XRP prices have multiplied at least 10x in previous cycles, fueling hopes for a similar big breakout towards $30 by mid-2026. Only problem with that, of course, is that I'm having a hard time believing that the bull market could go into 2026. I'm thinking more so that, bull market lasts 1,070 days. That means that October could hypothetically, November, maybe be the end of this thing. We could maybe extend to December because December is historically a quite bullish month for crypto overall, usually, especially in a bull market. But then by 2026, I'd assume that maybe the bull market is over. And so $30 by really end of 2025, I guess, would be the idea here, unless we think we're going to a super cycle, which I would love to see. I just have a hard time believing it. But, this is just a guy they're quoting on X who is looking at some kind of double bottom pattern. And look, TA is very important, okay? But it ain't the end-all, be-all, right? Broader market strength and weakness is going to change whatever TA you're looking at. And if Bitcoin's bubble pops, right, and I don't even like calling Bitcoin a bubble, but if the overbought nature of Bitcoin, and you could argue that it's not overbought because it should keep going up and all, I get it. I'm a crypto bull. But if Bitcoin starts to slip and we see it just a bear market coming for Bitcoin, altcoins will get wrecked. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules. I just try to follow them. And again, I'm not a financial advisor, but Some people do agree that there are some overvaluation risks. It could be overvalued. It actually soared insanely huge, which is kind of wild. But I mean, could it go to $30 in this year? I think it can go to $30 at some point. $30 on the table. I just don't think I think it'd be crazy if we saw it go to $30 in this bull market. Why? Because if XRP was to achieve the market cap of Bitcoin, that's a $40 XRP. Okay. Now, Bitcoin could climb a lot higher, guys. And so, let's just pretend Bitcoin goes to $250,000 a coin, which I think is possible. Could we see XRP achieve the market cap that Bitcoin's at today? I guess it's possible. But if people are sitting here telling me that XRP is going to flip Bitcoin, probably at all, right? I don't believe it's going to flip it ever. But in this cycle especially, I think that's ludicrous. I think that's insane. Bitcoin is the biggest cryptocurrency we got. It is the most decentralized. You can't take Bitcoin to court like they did with XRP. You just can't do it. So I just find it very difficult to even buy, especially the $1,000 prediction. I don't care if price shock, all these fancy words, and there's NDAs, and there's there's top secret sources that say blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at just the market cap alone and the supply and saying, $30 is crazy by the end of the year. Is it possible? Sure. Is $1,000 possible? No. Not for a long, long time, if ever. I doubt ever, personally. And I've looked into all the reasons why people think it will, and frankly, none of it ever ends up making sense to me. It's a bunch of fancy words that I think people get caught up in because it gets it's over their head and it sounds really smart, and it's they use these, and this entity, which is a big entity, is going to do this with it, and it's going to take over the world, and it's just not. It's not going to be, and not even Bitcoin. I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, but there's never going to be a day, I don't think, where the dollar doesn't exist and the yen doesn't exist and Bitcoin does, right? I think there's going to be, I mean, unless some crazy, that would be a bad world we're living in if that happened. But I do think there's a world where Bitcoin becomes extremely popular, or XRP becomes extremely popular, used amongst the banks. But is it the end all be all everything for it? I just don't think so. Jim Cramer's given us top signals. Jim Cramer said, I'm a huge believer in Bitcoin. So we're all joking again that, hey, we're going to zero because Jim Cramer's bullish again. I don't believe in that stuff, but I always get a kick out of it. And we did see recently the president officially extend the China tariff deadline by 90 days, which is good. So that's going to help not make inflation worse. The China deal is the most looked at deal. If this goes the right way, it could be bullish. If it goes the wrong way, it could actually cause some kind of retracement in the market, in my belief. Where's the money coming from, says Clearsby? From thin air or from the banks? I don't know. I just don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So I just can't get behind it, Scott. I love you, but I can't get behind it. But yeah, I mean, okay, there's kind of our news for the day. Any other stories? Core inflation is rising, but CPI is down from expectations, so that's pretty good. Yeah, and there you go. You have the president citing a major lawsuit against Fed. Powell again urges rate cut. Well, we know the rate cuts are going to come, and he's going to be like, I like this Powell. He should have cut the rate sooner, but I like him, and he did now, so that's all that matters. It's good. He should have cut it more. I think that's probably what we're going to hear. Should have cut it more. So let's do a little bit of a Q&A. We do know Fed rate cuts are coming. This is part of the reason we have such a wonderful rally going on in the crypto market right now. Let's look at the charts, see what's going on. By the way, check out Blowfin if you haven't done so already. If you guys want to do some trading for yourself, you can check out the affiliates in the description of this video down below. You guys are trading like crazy over there. I appreciate you signing up through our affiliate link in the description of this video and trading with us. It does help support the channel, and they're great platforms. I like Blowfin. I like BitTinex a lot. They got good deposit bonuses when you sign up. I like the user interface on these platforms, and I think that it's really easy to use, especially Blowfin from your mobile phone. So easy. You can demo trade, copy trade, do all this trading. So if you are interested in trading, There's a description with these links for you guys to sign up using our affiliate down below. A lot of people are trading right now. It's actually getting real frothy right now in these crypto markets, because I think we're getting kind of to the top of this thing. So, I think we're kind of getting to the top of this thing sooner rather than later. Again, if we go into 2026, that'd be great. But, hey, Pepe flipped green on the weekly candle. We like to see that. Let's look at the dailies. Yeah, I kind of took a daily candle dip. Ooh, let's see. Actually, there you go. That's I moved it a little bit. That's good. Wouldn't be surprised still if it touched back down to this before blasting off, but I'd love to just see it kind of keep ripping, roaring and soaring. Certainly a good day for Pepe. Good day for Dogecoin as well, kind of turning around a little bit. Little bit of a green day for Dogecoin. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Doge touched back down. Maybe September, boom, there's the touchdown in September. Maybe in September, boom, there's going to be the touchdown, maybe in September. One more last bounce before continuation through the end of this bull market. And for ETH, maybe ETH is going to touch back down to $4,000 in September. Yeah, I'm having a hard time just believing we're going to blast right through this because September is historically quite a bearish month. I know we got a Fed rate cut coming, but still, it generally doesn't just go straight up. It's going kind of straight up right now, but it never just goes straight up. Even back to this leg up, there are little dips in here in these moves. And here's one. There's August, September. You see that? That's a little dip down into. Here you go. There's a dip. We're rallying. August, September. There was a dip for Ethereum. So Ethereum, you could see a little bit of a dip in September. So those are kind of my September dip circles that I'm looking at. There's a chance though that maybe again XRP could kind of go, or Ethereum could kind of go up and have a little bit of a dip and dip down to this level instead. So I'm kind of between it right now. We just got to see how this momentum plays out. And for Bitcoin, you know what? Maybe we're gonna. I don't know. I mean, again, if September's a little bearish, it's gonna be tough to call, man. It's gonna be tough to call. I'm looking at September, and I love the Fed rate cut, but September is historically bearish. It's not just me making stuff up. This is just what it is. This is historically speaking. The data and the Bitcoin percentage return suggests September's kind of crummy, down 3%. Not horrible. But if Bitcoin shows some weakness, altcoins will show more weakness. Last September was great. I was wrong last September. I was calling for a red September last September. I was wrong. Happy to admit when I'm wrong. How's it going, Craig? Cardano to $5 in September. Realistic? I forget where Cardano's at right now. Absolutely not. Not financial advice. Crypto Keeper says, I just look, it's not going to 5x by September. That's 30 days. That'd be insane. I mean, why? Maybe October, November, right? But yeah. Adam Akkad asking, we hitting 5K today? I would doubt it thoroughly that we're going to hit that today. Thoroughly doubt it. I am a bull. I am one of the most bullish crypto believers you could know, but I also have learned to become a realistic bull. And that just comes through experience being in this market since 2016. Some people have been around longer than that. I think Pepe in the chat has been around a little longer than me. But yeah, I mean, it's what it is. Keep wait and see and remember what I said. Look, if XRP goes to $1,000 per coin, I will dress up as a giant chicken and do the chicken dance, holding an XRP sign taped to my chest that says, I was wrong about XRP. Congratulations to, what's that guy's name? Jake and Scott. I can't. All right. I'll dress up as a giant chicken. All right. Adam Akkad says, how high do you see ETH going today? Today, good question. Again, not a financial advisor, can't give you financial advice, but Ethereum today, no doubt that there's a chance that you could see this thing go up to 4,600, hit this level of resistance I'm looking at. Why am I calling for that resistance? Look at the wicks, the weekly candle closes. It's like right up here. Call 4,600. Absolutely on the table. Very possible. All right. Clear as beef will videotape me in a chicken outfit if XRP goes to $1,000. I'll do it live. But the all-time high, no. I mean, the all-time high is like, 4,800. Isn't it higher than that? I thought it was 5,000. I don't know. I got 5,000 in my head. I'm going to move this trend line down. I don't know why it's up there. I'm going to bring it down. There. That's where it needs to be. 46, it can get awfully close. But I expect some kind of resistance there before we get there. And even if we do get to the high, there's going to be some kind of resistance. Just like we saw here, right? Trend line, beep, resistance, and then we get through. So, again, I'm a bull. Yeah. I never wanted XRP to go to 1,000 more than I do right now. That's awesome. Yeah, 48. But today, I mean, I don't know. I think we'll find some resistance there. These weekly candles. Just kind of what I'm peeking at. Bitcoin dominance is just about in free fall. We love to see it. Level of support for Bitcoin dominance could be right around this 56% zone. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. I just say that a little lower. Weekly candle, touch. This little candle wick down below, but looking for that. I wouldn't be surprised if, talking about my September targets, by September, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that happen. And then a little bit of a bounce and then continuation down. And this would be, when you see Bitcoin do this, this would be this move right here, this little bounce. This would be when Bitcoin starts falling in price, but altcoins fall more. And then Bitcoin will recover, but altcoins will be even stronger. And then we'll have altcoin season, and then Bitcoin will come down to this 40-ish percent, 42% zone. And then we'll go into a bear market, and then we'll have an accumulation phase. I love this. Scott squared in the chat. I got two of them in the chat. Two Scotts. Love them both. Craig says, yep, meant to say October. I'm thinking more $2 to $3. Yeah, man. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate that. Yeah, I hope the back gets better too. Yeah, I think that Cardano could go to $5 before the end of the year. I mean, again, I'm still in the air of it could go October, November, or December. We could continue the rally into December. It's possible. But yeah, I mean, it could go there. I feel good about that. What was the previous high for Cardano? $3. Yeah, I mean, I think Cardano should break its previous high. That's what I think. So $5 seems pretty achievable to me. Alts together strong. Yes. I love that, Daryl. Dude, that Planet of the Apes stuff is great. Hey, Scossum in the chat, been a member for 16 months on this channel. My guy. Thank you for your support. It has a member chat saying, so I staked $500 of Chronos for my Ruby card 100 days ago. We have officially doubled to 100K, hoping it holds for the next 250 days. Yeah, I mean, it probably won't. I'm sorry. I probably won't, but you kind of have to go into staking knowing that you're taking that big risk. And at the end of the day, $500, maybe I shouldn't speak for everybody here, isn't a tremendous amount of money. It's a lot, it can be a lot of money, but you got the card. So, I mean, that's kind of, you're staking it for the future. Maybe that's now a long-term holding bag for you. But that's kind of why I avoid staking generally. I just don't like being locked. I like to have the opportunity to pivot when things get frothy and the market is high. I want to shuffle some out sometimes. And so I generally stay away from staking if it's a large portion of my portfolio. Now, I would assume maybe that the 500 isn't a large portion of your portfolio. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But, you know, and I like the cards, which is why, like, you know, at one point I staked for the 40,000. That was probably too much to be staking, but it worked out okay for me back in the day. Now I have the rose gold card, but I'm not staking anything, and I still use it. I don't get all the extra like benefits and all that, but I still use it and I like it quite a bit. Yeah. Any hope for Chronos memes? Yeah, I mean, look, if the overall market pumps, then some of those will pump. I wouldn't be surprised if they never took a new high again. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. We had our time. I think that there's other memes that are bigger and better, and even if the market caps are higher, they could still outperform some of those Chronos memes. Some of them are just not gonna definitely come back again. Some of the big ones, maybe, I don't know. The big ones could. I hope so for everybody that they can, but definitely not focused on the memes personally on that. Getting ready to dress up in a chicken suit and do that. I was wrong about XRP dance. Yeah, it might, Scott. It might have an opportunity to run that one. We'll see. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Check out the affiliate links in the description down below. Yeah, guys, I'm going to go and stretch my back and continue working. I got more work to do. I got a Pepe video coming for you later today. Blacksea has some videos coming your way as well. Subscribe to the channel. We will keep the content flowing on this channel. Much appreciate you guys in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Crypto Kip. This is the Crypto Report. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. DCA. Hold on, my friends. Until next time, I'll see you in the next one. Peace, y'all.